Hey guys, what's going on? My name's Aiko. You know what we're talking about today, you saw the title, so we're just gonna jump right into it. So since we're talking about, I guess, like improvements for the controller, or what we should expect to see, or what we hope to see for the Elite Controller 2, I want to address some of the main issues that I see with this controller. I haven't experienced these myself, but a lot of my friends and a lot of my community has. So one of the biggest things that we should hope to see are these grips. My controller's a little bit modified, it's not completely, stock, so these grips right here usually come all the way around the controller, even to this section here, and they're very bad. The glue wears off, or whatever, the adhesive wears off, and they tend to flap and kind of fall off. So it's okay when it happens to this section of the controller, because it's easy to replace that. This part you're kind of screwed, and that's unfortunate. The grip on this section isn't even that good, so I feel like we should just get rid of that and get a new one altogether, honestly. This is the scuff grips that I have on the side, and those are really nice, actually. The other one is the bumpers. A lot of people have issues with the bumpers popping off and breaking. So those are the two biggest complaints that I see with the Elite controller as it stands here today. The thumbsticks that I always use for every controller that I play on, especially this, is my daily controller. This is the Control Freak thumbstick. The coupon code right now is actually 15% off until Christmas, December 25th, instead of its normal 10% off. So if you're looking to get some Control Freak thumbsticks for added leverage and comfort and aesthetics, then by all means head over to their website and use code IKEABLE to get 15% off. So if we could just get a better texture and maybe like a replacement option for this grip here, that would be a lot better. Some sort of improvement regarding that, because, and the bumpers, we can't have them bumpers falling off. But like I said, I haven't had any issues. These look good. Bumpers still work fine, so maybe I'm just lucky. So now let's dive into some of the things that have actually been, I guess, potentially leaked for the Elite Controller version 2. As a person of functionality and aesthetics, I would really like to see the next generation of the Elite Controller resemble that a lot of the new Microsoft controllers, the version 2 of the standard controllers. There's not a huge difference from what I know for the new standard Xbox One controllers. The only difference is the facelift. You can see that the part right here is all one piece, and I think that looks a lot better than the first generation controller that came out. So that's another concept, or another facelift idea that I would like to see in the new Elite controller. I was surprised when they made the Elite controller white version. I was surprised to see that it didn't have, the one-piece faceplate here. It still had the two-piece old-style face. So that was pretty surprising to see, because the version 2 standard controllers have been out much longer than the white Xbox One Elite controller. So I'd like to see them kind of implement that in the new version of the Elite, if and when it comes out. Now for some of the main things that have been, leaked, I guess, for the next generation Elite controller. So let's switch it over to the browser here. And this browser talks about a few things. I'll link this in the description below, or in the pinned comment, or something like that. So we can see details first appeared on the Chinese website Baidu, which provided a few pictures of the alleged controller that can be seen below. Its rumored features are as follows: rechargeable batteries, undetachable, MagSafe-like charge port. So from my understanding, the MagSafe-like charge port, it resembles a lot of like the MacBook charger, for example, how it's magnetic. And the magnetic feature is good for a lot of different things. One, it's really easy to plug in. It's magnetic. It kind of just snaps on by itself. And it's also nice because if people were to ever trip over your charging cable or something like that, it will release the tension in the magnet and your controller won't go flying over the room. It'll just detach. Undetachable rechargeable batteries is interesting, but it's probably for the better. So another thing they say is the USB Type-C. Instead of this, I think it's a micro USB to the normal USB. USB Type-C is basically the newest version of USB as far as I know. A lot of new tech has it. It's faster, it's reversible, it's universal, though, so you're gonna see that on a lot of new technology. So of course we should potentially be seeing on new controllers these days. Bluetooth on Windows 10 is a huge thing. That's really awesome to hear. Hopefully it does have that. Another feature is 3-level hair trigger locks. So at the moment, the Elite controller has 2 levels. So right now they're both on the shortest option, but if we flip it up, you're gonna see that the trigger goes all the way down, as opposed to this side. It only goes down halfway. Now you can see there's only 2 options there. It's either halfway or, all the way down. So the level 3 hair trigger locks means there's gonna be another option. Personally, I think that these switches, they're great. I love the switches, honestly, they're awesome. But I feel like if we're going for a very modern controller, I feel like the switches are a little outdated. I kind of was thinking of ways that they could change that and make it more modern, and I kind of was thinking something like a scroll wheel, maybe. Like a scroll wheel you can just instantly. I know Scuff has an Allen wrench that you can stick in and twist it, but then you need the Allen wrench itself, and that's just kind of old school as well. So if there was like a scroll wheel, a very small one, maybe that could look good, maybe that could work, maybe they could make it work, but like a level 3, so you could just kind of scroll and it would pick the level for you just like a normal mouse would, kind of thing. I don't know, just a random idea I had. The next thing is 3 profile switch. So as we know, the Elite controller has 1 profile and 2. So this switch is good for switching your profiles on the fly. However, you can have as many profiles as you want, they just can't all be assigned. You can only have 2 assigned. So if you want to change them, which I do all the time actually, you just have to open up the Xbox little settings thing and switch your profile and assign it to an actual spot on the controller. So 3 profile switch means we're gonna have 3 options. And let's see, there's a picture actually. So when I see these little lights here, it's like in the center of the controller. And that reminds me a lot of the Logitech G502 mouse. So this thing has 3 profiles as well. And I'm guessing instead of having it switch, you know, back and forth, kind of, again, a little old schooly to me, it might be similar to what we see in this mouse. So on this mouse, I only have 2 profiles assigned, but if you can see, when I push it, it switches to the next profile, and ideally it would switch to the 3rd one, but apparently I don't have one active. So I imagine it being something like that. You're just gonna click on the mouse button or click on the controller button, and then it's gonna cycle through 3 profiles. The last thing this website mentions is longer key travel for paddles. So the paddles there's something. They're a little controversial on the Elite controller. I feel like they're very, very easy to push. It's kind of a bad thing, honestly. Setting down the controller sometimes is not good because if you set it on a blanket or something that's not smooth, sometimes you can actually accidentally push the paddles down. It is kind of nice because if you actually double tap the connect button on the controller, it will disable the paddles. You'll double tap this guy, you get 3 little vibrations to let you know that, hey, the paddles are off. And then of course, double tap it again, 3 vibrations, and they're back on. So that's a quick way to just disable the paddles to avoid any issues with it. But having a longer travel for the paddles, or at least adding some sort of resistance option, if we could have like adjustable resistance on the paddles, I think that sounds like a pretty cool idea. So this website actually mentions a lot. Another thing they mention is tension control for the joysticks. This will allow gamers to control the tension of joystick movement and adjust the amount of resistance while pushing the sticks. So here's a nice little photo there. And as you can see, when he pops off the thumbstick, it actually is very different. So I'll try to get you guys, you know, a nice shot right there. But you can see that it looks a little different. There's only 4 little prongs in the thumbstick itself, and there's no plate like there is in this leaked photo here. So I'm guessing maybe it's like some sort of weight or something like that this adds. So maybe you can add weight to the controller thumbstick here and add resistance to it. I'm not too sure. Quickly, I forgot to mention while we were talking about the trigger stops, if they could add some padding on the inside like the Scuff controllers have for their trigger stops. My fridge just started making noises, I'm sorry if you can hear that. When you push these guys, like they're pretty loud and clunky, but not a big deal. But the Scuff controller has a nice padding cushion on the inside, so when you pull it, it's actually silent, and that's kind of nice. So it's the little things, you know? Moving on from this website, another feature that has been talked about on Reddit is, you know, clear as day, I don't have to explain it here, but using the paddles for different buttons or additional buttons, separate from just A, B, X, and Y, and whatever else the controller offers. Now, this is very hard. I don't think we're gonna see this. It's a really good idea, but I feel like it's kind of subject to game developers as well, because they would need to cater to these extra mystery ghost buttons, if you will. So, I don't know. It looks pretty cool, and, you know, I wish you could assign them specific things as you would like a mouse and keyboard kind of thing. By the way, Xbox is supporting mouse and keyboard now. I saw that recently. It's crazy. Maybe we'll have to check that out. When it's an interface function, like a party function that these buttons could be mapped to, I feel like that's a lot more doable as opposed to getting these buttons mapped additionally to random parts in a game, like a pyramid piece in Fortnite. Like, that's not going to happen. This interface functionality for the extra buttons might happen, probably not, but it's a good idea. So moving on, I did kind of say that I wanted to talk more about customization. We have mentioned that the Elite controller does come in white as well. That took a very long time to be in the market. We had this black one for a very long time, and we don't have much more than that, but I do want to kind of cover what we do have. Something like this is a very small thing that I wanted to show you guys, just a colored thing. It's not even by Microsoft, but there are kits that do that. But regardless, I wanted to see, for this new controller, I'd like to see different kinds of paddles. That's pretty nitpicky. I'm not saying it needs to happen, but at the moment, what we do have are these paddles that you see here on the screen, the Scuff Gaming Elite kit. That comes with paddles that go straight down. So they do just magnetize onto the controller like the normal ones do, but they are designed to be straight down for those who don't like the design of these ones. I feel like we could add maybe one more design for the paddles for maybe someone who's a little bit in between both of those or something like that. I have no problem with the standard paddles whatsoever, but I feel like maybe we could branch out on that, maybe just a little bit. Some other customization, you see stuff like this. This is actually by Xbox. This is like the Forza kit. Those are pretty cool. It comes with all this stuff. I don't know if these paddles are meant to be on the controller at one time. I mean, I guess they would have to be. So this maybe is like the closest thing as to what I'm kind of saying with the paddles. These are a little bit different designed than you know, the standard ones or the Elite Scuff ones. We can see that these paddles are all like horizontal. None of them bend downwards that much, or not as much as the standard ones at least. But then you see that it's going for, like, my head's probably in the way, $89.99 for those things. It's just a kit that comes with, you know, what you see here. So that's pretty ridiculous. There's another kit going for $79.99. Again, it's by Xbox. Same, it's basically the same thing. The thumbstick design is like literally the same thing as well. But I guess they exist. And then we do have this awesome Porsche 911 Scuff Elite controller. This thing is really freaking cool. I would love to own one. However, I don't. When I first saw them, they retailed for like over $300. So that's pretty crazy. They have the Scuff Elite thumbsticks, which are exactly the ones that I have on here. They have the concave versions, and it comes with the Scuff Elite paddle. So we can just see that it has like this suede, but it still has that terrible tacky grip on the inner side. So I don't know about that. Those paddles are pretty big and wonky in my opinion, but the controller itself is really freaking cool. Carbon fiber around the LED button there. It's an interesting looking controller. I don't think it comes with that many things, but again, it's just saying that the Elite controller is very limited to customization. We have some things, but not a whole lot. You know what I was also kind of thinking is RGB in the home screen LED button. I wouldn't be too fucked up about seeing that, honestly. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please remember, if you want to pick up any Control Freak thumbsticks, they're 15% off up until Christmas. So remember, apply code IKEABLE to save you guys some coin on that one. Let me know what you guys think. A lot of the video, I'm sharing some ideas and some things that are a little bit out there. I understand a lot of those things we don't really need and they're flashy, but I like exploring potential ideas and innovation for a controller. So I upload a lot of videos like this, a lot of gaming videos, a lot of thumbstick videos. So if you're new here, you can consider subscribing so I can see you again in the next new upload. So until then, I'll see ya. My name's Aiko. Peace.